Shri Shri Ras Viharini Juki Jai Ho. Vraj Kishori Seva Trust continues the reading of the Sri Hari Raji Shiksha Patra. And today we are on day 88. We are letter 35 and verse 1. The 35th letter of instruction discusses how both the company of those whose mindset is opposite to ours and the lack of company of those who are like-minded are situations that cause us grief. Sri Hari Raji states, "At the moment I am suffering both of these problematic states. Those who oppose the Lord are like poisonous serpents. The serpent sent by the Brahmin's son bit the great devotee Parikshit. In the same way, people of a wicked nature oppose the Lord in their actions and speech, and thus bring grief to the devotees of the Lord. They are disqualified from devotion through their corrupt actions. They can rectify themselves through practice of good action and speech. Those devoid of all knowledge, or those who apply knowledge in a mistaken and contrary way, are disqualified through their corrupt hearts and minds, but they can be purified with the application of proper intelligence. The very wicked being who is totally devoid of any affection or sympathy cannot be helped. If a person is born without any organs of gender, then no herb or remedy will turn them into a man. In this way, those who have absolutely no love in their heart are to be known to be of demonic nature. Their company can influence others to become wicked too. If you are following a path of devotion, you need to avoid their company. This is described in this letter. In the previous letter, the mood of separation was explained to be the highest sentiment for the Lord, and attainable with grace. Bad company and other obstacles on this path should be strictly avoided in order to have success. Those obstacles will now be discussed. Verse 1. It is a source of distress when a person of devotional heart is forced to be with and hear the words of those who are turned away from the Lord, and also lacks the company and chance to hear the words of like-minded beings. By dint of fate, I am now suffering both these situations. Tika. Sri Hari Raji here states that it is a source of great distress to a devotee of the path of grace to have to be with those who are of a completely different consciousness. He says, "What else can I say? I am sorely afflicted by being surrounded by those who are opposed to the devotional path. When the Vraja devotees get together, they generate much bliss by listening to and repeating the stories of the pastimes of their beloved Lord. But if they are interrupted by worldly elements, they are disturbed and feel sad. It is the same of the grace-filled devotees when the divine discussions are broken by the entrance of ungodly beings. I am being surrounded in all 10 directions by souls opposed to the Lord, and so I am much aggrieved. I also lack the chance to hear the soothing, sweet words of like-minded devotees. I have to engage in useless chatter all day long, and I am not managing to remove this source of annoyance. I need the company of devotees, but I can't have it, and I am made to associate through circumstance with people of a worldly disposition all the time, and am not able to curb this situation. Both of these situations oppose the path of grace, but it is my fate to have to endure them." Verse 2. Other types of affliction can be removed through either knowledge or devotion. On a worldly level, the grief of not having something will be mitigated when that thing is attained, but the grief brought about through wrong association is impossible to relieve. Tika. Other sources of grief can be removed through knowledge or devotion. Worldly pain, longing to gain something, will be removed when it is gained. But the grief brought about by bad association is very great and literally impossible to get rid of. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we learn that the meeting of the senses with the objects of sensual desire is hugely obstructive, because then the mind is taken over by endless involvement in contemplation on these matters. I am now surrounded by such beings who are turned away from the Lord, and thus I am suffering. It is as if my whole body has been pierced at its vital points by arrows in the form of the impure speech of immoral beings. My body has been entrusted to you, but because of this state of affairs, it is still not gaining perfect health. The arrows of the impure speech of unethical beings pierce the vital points of my body. It is so painful, but this is the bad association I am suffering. This situation allows me no peace of mind. This affects my relationship with you because I have lost my patience and perseverance. Verse 4. Nowadays, people are well established in a habit of bad association, which can cleverly corrupt a pure mind in a single second. Tika. I cannot see an appropriate way for me, which would be to associate with great devotees, because I am surrounded all the time by unfavourable company which is of no benefit to me. The Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Acharyaji and Sri Gosaiji have stated that Vaishnava devotees are pained by such bad association, and this is my situation. You might ask, why are you aggrieved by this? Only an ignorant person would be influenced by bad association. You have knowledge of so many religious texts and principles. What can bad association do to one such as you? Here my answer is: one may have a pure mind and a clear intelligence, but they can still be ruined in a single second by close association with a sinful demonic being, and such company is a great obstacle. Sri Gosaiji has written in his Vigyapti treatise, even though I have attained the association of the great devotees of Vrindavan who are close to Sri Krishna, still even a whiff of placing my heart's affection anywhere else blocks my airways, whereby he indicates that if he were to develop attachment or relationship to any other than his Lord, he would feel as if his throat were cut. There is a famous story in the accounts of the Chaurasi Vaishnav, 84 Vaishnava devotees of Sri Acharyaji, in which the wife of Damodar Das Sambharavare placed her faith in others' advice and blessing, and subsequently gave birth to a son of sinful nature and opposed to the Lord. It is this type of subtle bad association in which the intelligence is ruined. I have this kind of bad association now, and I am suffering. You may say, well then, immediately give up this bad company, and your mind will be purified. The next verse answers this statement. Verse 5. The life of a householder requires income, which requires the assistance of others who are worldly associates. This company must be maintained in order to sustain the income. I do not have enough faith to give up gainful occupation, so the unfavourable association and situation remains. Tika. How can the life of a householder be sustained without income? When travelling abroad, for example, the help of others is essential. Some such people cannot be renounced. They are not godly souls, and they have a bad influence, but must be retained for the sake of maintaining income. I will be free from such bad association when I no longer am engaged in gainful employment. You might say, well, you are esteemed and capable. Why not just give up earning in the incumbent band company? To this I reply, well, I could send these useless people away and sit at home and be free from such negative association. However, I do require income, and then I need helpers, and the situation arises again. When I travel afar, there are always new people to meet and greet, so how can I avoid bad company? Therefore, know the need to engage in accumulating wealth makes the renunciation of bad association impossible. It would be the best thing not to have to earn money. Sri Acharyaji has written in his Bhakti Vardhini treatise, How to Increase Devotion, if you are not otherwise occupied in gainful employment, then spend your time worshipping the Lord. In order to renounce one's occupation in earning money, one must have complete faith and perseverance. That strength of conviction is difficult to sustain. The mind begins to question how survival of the household will be possible without work. So, without such complete faith, you cannot be free from such employment. So, what to do? On this question mark, we pause the reading for today at the end of verse 5 in letter 35 in day 88. We will continue tomorrow. Aaj ke Anand ki jai. Sab Vaishnavan ko Jai Shri Krishna. Shri Shri Ras Biharini Ji ki jai.